On May 11th, Governor Wolf came out and released a statement on county commissioners that were threatening to violate his lockdown orders and open up. The reason they were doing this is because they were concerned their constituents were losing their livelihoods, not being able to go to work. Wolf was not impressed with this and thought that there would be consequences for people breaking his law and that it would lead to the virus spreading and putting everyone's life in jeopardy. Here's from his statement. In his latest press briefing, Governor Tom Wolf responded to the politicians planning to defy the stay-at-home order. He called the move a cowardly act and reminded politicians they're putting lives at risk. In recent days, politicians in various counties sent letters notifying them their plans to move from red phase to yellow on May 15th. According to the governor, counties that do not follow the stay-at-home order will not get funding because they're putting all of us at risk and operating illegally. He said non-compliant counties will not qualify for federal discretionary funds. Quote, to these politicians who decide to cave in to this coronavirus, they need to realize the consequences of their cowardly act. The funding we'll have put aside to help fighting this crisis will go to the folks who are doing their part. And that includes our CARES Act funding that will be used to support counties that are following orders to prevent the spread. Wolf told business owners that these politicians are putting their businesses at risk of losing their health department certificate, liquor license, and certificate of occupancies. Now, think of what he's saying there. If you live in a county and your county says, okay, go ahead and open up, and Tom Wolf disagrees and says that violates his order, he'll take your license to operate. He'll take your health certificate. He called you a coward. He said that if you break the law, there'll be consequences. He had no time for this. He said that it would lead to deaths. Now, fast forward to Monday. There was supposed to be a press conference with Tom Wolf. He had put out a statement over the weekend that was completely opposite when it came to the protests that were occurring in Pennsylvania about the death of George Floyd. Now, despite these facts that these protests had riots that occurred in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Tom Wolf still played lip service to him and talked about the need to fight systemic racism and why these protests were important. My friend Todd Bartley was able to attend the press conference and Wednesday was going to be able to ask Secretary Levine of the Department of Health why Tom Wolf called people cowards who wanted to open their businesses and provide for their family, but he celebrated protesters, some of which ended up leading to riots in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia that wanted to protest about a cop killing someone states over. 15 minutes before he went in to ask this question, he found out that in Dauphin County, where Harrisburg is located, it's still under code yellow, which he'd known that, which means you can't have large gatherings. 15 minutes before he got to ask the question, he heard that Tom Wolf was personally in Dauphin County at a protest that had over 200 people. In other words, Tom Wolf was breaking his own law. And so he decided to ask Secretary Levine what was going on. Here's the question and her response.
Secretary, Dauphin County just moved to yellow on May 29th, which means no large gatherings. And apparently there's a march going on that has more than 200 people in it today in Dauphin County. Can you clarify the administration's position on May 11th? Business owners were called cowards for wanting to reopen their businesses, and today the governor is actually marching in that. Is that not in violation of your order and his order for large gatherings?
Well, so we have, then the governor has always said that people have the right to protest and to demonstrate and the right of free speech. And so overall, we want large gatherings such as maybe a party or some type of concert or something to be under 250 people. But we are not restricting people's right to protest. There are also obviously significant social issues that are present that people feel that they need to have a voice. And so the governor is always supportive of that and is participating in that. April, there is a question back there.
Now notice she didn't offer up for a follow-up because my friend Todd would have said, that's outrageous. You said that people that violated the law would face consequences, would not get federal funding or money, and they would lose their job. Why doesn't that apply to Tom Wolf? It was one thing for him to pay lip service to these protesters that were breaking the law, but he himself breaking the law is an outrage. This is indicative of what we've seen from leaders all across this country. They don't feel the rules apply to them. They think they can threaten you. Remember, it wasn't as if he said, I understand people that want to open their business, but, unfortunately, we think it'll cause the virus to spread and kill people. He called you a coward. He threatened you. If you want to feed your family, you are a coward. If you want to protest a cop that died states over, then you're a noble hero. Why is it that COVID can't spread all of a sudden in these crowds? Are they lying when they said that we need to shut down because otherwise the virus would spread and kill people? Or are they lying when they say that the protest won't spread the virus? I think it's the former. I think this is evidence that they didn't care about these deaths, as evidence of the fact that Tom Wolf's policy was to put nursing home patients with COVID back in the nursing home, therefore encouraging the spread and leading to mass deaths there. And now we see evidence that he doesn't even believe his own lies. He'll threaten you if you want to provide for your family, but if he wants to go out and get a photo op to be with these protesters, he thinks that's highly appropriate. Call your state representative. Demand that we lift these lockdowns now. If they're good enough to not be enforced for Tom Wolf, then your family's just as important. We're sick and tired of leaders, people like Tom Wolf, that stand on a moral high ground and threaten us and claim that they know what they're talking about, then violating the very same things and laws that they pass that they demand we enforce. They don't care about your family and livelihood. All they care about is increasing their power. And that's what the lockdown was about the entire time.